Hello everybody, this is Chris Bird or MonkeyDude1313, and this is a completed master set of Sword, Shield, Silver, Tempest. This is one of our over 100 completed master sets on our journey to collect all English Pokemon cards. This binder here has the non-holos, holos, rares, Vs, alternate art Vs, V-stars, trainer gallery, and the Lugia that everyone is very excited for. So let's jump into it. I want to do a quick mention here that our cameos for today are the Sword Shield promos that are related to the set. But we will get there when we get there. Let's start flipping through. So we have a ton of cards to get through. I just wanted to make a really quick note that we have the non-textured half art V and the textured half art V-star. Very cool in my opinion when they make half art cards with texture, just because the textured cards look so much cooler and feel a lot cooler in my opinion. Alright, let's flip through the main set relatively quick here. We have a ton of fan favorites in here, and we also have a pretty obvious theme going on. I really like this Pikachu because it has a bunch of different mouse Pokemon in the art. This Radiant Alakazam, my partner made a very cool shadow box as a gift for a friend of ours who loves Alakazam, and I'll throw that on the screen here. Nice. Very, very cool. Those take quite a lot of time and effort to make. Alright, moving on. This unknown V. It is also the unknown for the letter V. So this unknown V is unknown V. I think that's pretty cool. And then on this one, unknown V star, this is unknown V again, but this is unknown S, T, A, and R. So we actually have unknown V star spelled out in unknowns V, S, T, A, and R. Very cool. I think a decent number of people might not have noticed that. All right, moving along very quickly, or relatively quickly here. We got some more nice Pokemon. We got a Skuntank V, which we will revisit in a little bit. And we are just about getting to the end of the main set, Radiant Jirachi, quite nice. We got these two arts, which I think are absolutely fantastic. I'm going to pull these out. These are not represented on the full art or better versions of these cards, but this art from Mitsuhiro Arita is absolutely fantastic. I think some people really like trying to get 10s on these, and they're somewhat tricky. The other one I wanted to draw a little bit of attention to is this Ho-Oh V. This is not by Mitsuhiro, but this artwork is still incredible. Love it, love it, love it. All right, so we're in the trainers, which means we're going to be getting to the grand reveals. Starting with these two in the bottom corner. These are the full arts from the set. So still fancy cards, very nice and textured, but not the star of the secret rare show. I guess they're technically not secret rares, they're still in the set number. But here's the first of the full spread grand reveals. We finish off our full arts here in the top corner, and then we start having some of the alternate arts. Oh, so why am I pointing at that one? Alternate arts here spread throughout. You'll see here that we have the Lugia V. So, again, unknown V is unknown V. This unknown V has a lot more unknowns on it, because this is the alternate art version. Well, what do all these guys spell out? Well, if you look really closely, you can see the V-I-C-T-O-R-Y, and then, where is it? S-Y-M-B-O-L. So this second attack victory symbol is spelled out in the unknowns on this card. I really like attention to detail like that. Up next, we have some more full arts. The Skuntank V here has another Skuntank V up here. This is another alternate art. And it's really cool that this is a family of Stunky and Skuntank, and then there's a Paris up there that is being investigated thoroughly. Nice. I absolutely love the art on this. Usually they portray Skuntank as angry, smelly boy, and here he's more of a cute and protective Pokemon instead of the more angry type. Very nice. Moving along, Regidrago V, alternate art. The neat thing to point out on this one is the Lugia flying up there in the corner. Nice. Very, very nice. All right, but without further ado, we are at the fancy card that everyone is looking for in this set, the Lugia V. We pulled this ourselves, very happy to have done so, and you'll notice that our card is very left heavy, but that's fine. We're okay with raw. I mean, we want raw, we don't care to grade, and so having this card in pack fresh condition is great. This guy, I don't think this is a specific trainer. I think this is more of a generic fisherman, but they definitely do a great job in this art of showing a guy on a boat down here being thrown around by the Silver Tempest of Lugia. Very, very cool. Absolutely stunning art, and it is no wonder to me that this is the chasiest chase card from the entire set. Very, very beautiful. All right, so we're here at the end of the full arts for the Pokemon. We show some full art trainers here. Not going to spend too much time on those. And for the next grand reveal, we finish off the full art trainers and we get into the rainbow rares. Some people are a huge fan of these rainbow rares, other people not so much. I personally enjoy them, but they're not my favorites. But let's make sure to pick out a few of the neat ones and go through it. So I will pull out this Alolan Vulpix V-Star here. And I really like how they decided to separate off the V-Star power here at the bottom. And, just by adding that one little line, you can still get a very cool artwork, but it makes it very distinct what the V-Star power is on the card. They also did a great job at choosing the angle and the rainbow and where all the colors land, because on the face here you still get a majority of the blue, which is the correct color for Alolan Vulpix, while still getting all the rainbowness back here. All right, since it's the Lugia set, I will pull out the Lugia Rainbow as well. Very solid card, very neat. Again, I appreciate the rainbow on it. All right, Rainbow Rare Trainers. Again, cool, but let's move on. Another grand reveal here is the end of the main set and the beginning of the Trainer Gallery, which is where we'll be spending a decent amount of time. These are the secret rares from the set, relatively low pull rates, and some of them are significantly more sought after than others. For very obvious reasons, this Lugia is one of the most valuable of these guys. In these cases, I really appreciate the V-Star power being a very gold box down here, because it fits with the overall aesthetic of the card being very gold. Alright, so despite being a very large set, we are already done with the main set at only 7 minutes in. But the Trainer Gallery, I believe, has exactly 30 cards in it, and these are some of the most interesting cards in the entire set. I'm embarrassed to admit this, but I'll admit it anyway, keep myself a little bit human here. It's called the Trainer Gallery because the number on the set is TG01, TG02, etc. I thought that was just another name for a subset within the set, because way back in Generations we had the Radiant Collection, and we had another one previously in Legendary Treasures called the Radiant Collection, and then in Crown Zenith we had Galarian Gallery, and so I thought, okay, they just chose to call it Trainer Gallery. I didn't realize until earlier today when I was flipping through the binder that it's probably called Trainer Gallery because all of the cards feature a trainer along with the Pokemon that they are known for, or at least one of them. So that's a little bit embarrassing, but hey. Alright, so let's pull each of these guys out and take a nice look. This breaks in here, has the trainer on it, which is actually featured on another full art in the set. This is Serena. So you get the full art down here, and then we get the Trainer Gallery Serena here with breaks in. Nice. Very, very nice. I highly recommend people collect these Trainer Gallery subsets because they're designed to look really well together. They're full arts, and many of them are quite within reach, regardless of your budget range. Very, very cool. All right, next up, we have Melodic here. This Melodic is with Wallace, I believe. Wallace right up here, posing on a rock. And we have the Rainbow Wallace here, which is out of frame, but Rainbow Wallace there. Cool. So a great depiction of the Melodic. You can kind of see it under the water there, but mostly it is just sticking out of the water. Nice. All right. Moving along, we have TG03 Flaffy with Elisa. And I don't exactly know who this is over here. It might be a plush of Elisa, or it might be someone else dressed up in Elisa's clothes, or more likely it's the very obvious mirror in the back. So I think this is the back of Flaffy's ear. This is the back of Elisa, and the camera is taking a picture through the mirror of Flaffy and Elisa there. So I actually didn't realize that until just now, but that is way more obvious and makes way more sense. All right, next up, everyone's favorite Pokemon, Jinx. Who doesn't love Jinx, right? This is Jinx with Will. I believe Will is either one of the champions or at least the Elite Four members. Very cool, very neat Jinx, but a lot of people aren't really into Jinx. No major surprises there, I would hope. All right, Selfish Lips. Gardevoir. This Gardevoir is with Diantha, I believe that's their name. Diantha and Gardevoir, they are one of the main duos that you have to fight near the end of the games, and the scene in which you have the battle is actually extremely fantastic. So if you haven't played some of the Pokemon mainline games and seen this pairing, you should definitely go check that out. Nice. All right, coming at us from all the way back in the Gen 6 days, we have Xerosic and Malamar. Xerosic has some evil machinations of his own. I don't want to spoil too much, but if you've played Legends ZA, the game that came out recently, and have not played the mainline XY games, I highly recommend you go check them out. But Malamar's personality and Xerosic's personality fit very, very well together. And so there's no surprise to me that they are put together on this card. Similarly, very similar personality types, we have Professor Kooky from Sun Moon and Rockruff. Absolutely adorable. This Rockruff is obviously having a great time, while Kooky is being very caring. I don't know if owner or trainer or friend is the right word to use, but one or all of those. Very nice. Next up, Passimian. This is the first of the Trainer Gallery cards that just features a generic NPC character rather than a named one. So as far as I know, this is Passimian with a random karate guy or black belt, or not exactly sure what their in-game name was, but they were just one of the trainer types from Sun Moon base. Well, I shouldn't say base, from the Sun Moon mainline games. Next up, figuring out who was on this card was actually a little bit tricky, because it's a Drudagon, obviously, dragon type, and so you would think, with blue-haired female, you'd think, oh, this is probably Claire. And Claire was one of the final gym leaders, and maybe one of the Elite Four members, I think, from Gold and Silver. But actually, this is from Black and White, Ace Trainer Dara. I don't know why, specifically they chose Ace Trainer Dara instead of Claire, especially since I believe Claire actually has a Drudagon in the anime, but either way, very, very cool. Very kind of serene pose between them. All right, now we're on to the next flip, which will be the bulk of the Trainer Gallery here. And this is where we finish off the yellow bordered ones, and we get into the textured and full art alternate versions of these cards. So, gotta keep on going with these guys first. Smeargle. Quick thing I wanted to point out is that I absolutely love the explosion of color on this card. Not only does it make it feel very chaotic, but it feels very Smeargle. This guy down here, similar to the black belt we saw on the other card, this is one of the artist NPCs from Sword and Shield. So they have a lot of artist trainers that you battle throughout the games, and this is the model that they used in Sword Shield. All right, next up is Lycia and her Altaria. Very fluffy, very cute, quite a nice card, and a lot of people really like Lycia as a trainer, so a lot of people will certainly be collecting this one because it features Lycia as well as Altaria. All right, so now we're into the textured Trainer Gallery cards. First up is this Cricketoon. Quite a nice texture here, but it features a generic bug catcher. We've had bug catchers in every single game, and usually they have 6 Weedles or 4 Metapods that only use Harden. At least that's my main experience with bug catchers from way back in the day. But nice card here. Next up is one of the female MCs. This is a Superior V card, and this is Rosa. Rosa has a $300 full art from Cosmic Eclipse, which is absolutely ridiculous, but if that's worth anything, that's proof that a lot of people like Rosa as a trainer. This is also one of the rare cards that feature a bicycle on them, and so there's been a little bit of chatter about cards with bicycles on them, and this is one of them. There's also a Hilda SIR from Black Bolt, I think, that is on a bike as well. Okay, so now for Blaziken we both get V and VMAX, and I think we get that for a few other ones in here, but this Blaziken V features May from Gen 3, which makes a lot of sense because Blaziken is a Gen 3 Pokemon, and this is a very, very cool pose where it looks like he's doing a handstand while kicking. Nice. However, the card that most people recognize is Ginormous Blaziken, Blaziken VMAX here, still featuring May, but she's holding on for dear life because this dude is as tall as a city. Huge, but you know what? If they're going to put Max in the name, they might as well make the Pokemon Max. So, very, very cool art. Quite sought after card from the Trainer Gallery here. Nice. This, I did not know the name of this character for quite a while. I believe this is Celine, one of the main playable characters in one of the games, and this is her Zero aura with her. Alright, I don't know why a lot of people did not like her as a trainer. I was okay with it. There wasn't anything crazy about it to me. Next up, we have Mawile V, and this is featuring Bead. Beady, Bade, Bed, Bead. I just call them Bead. I don't know exactly the correct pronunciation for that, but that is okay. You go on a little bit of an emotional journey with this character in Sword and Shield games. Again, I'm not going to spoil it, but if you're interested, you should go back and check those out. Quite a nice card overall. I really like the sunset down here. I'm presuming it's a sunset, but it could be a sunrise as well. Alrighty, Corviknight V. The main transportation system in Sword Shield was riding around in this little flying taxi cab carried by a Corviknight. And so it makes sense that this gets featured on a card, and this is the guy who ferries you from place to place. So instead of just using the move Fly or Teleport or something, you would hop in a flying taxi and take off to wherever you need to go, and then even on the loading screen they would have this little Corviknight flying you to wherever you're going. The sign there, I believe, says Route 1, which I think is where you first find out about this guy and his taxi. But when you have the VMAX version again, you got to make the Pokemon Max, you got to make it giant, and here is the flying taxi, but instead of being held in the claws, it is now sitting on top of the head, looking way smaller than before. But again, textured VMAX card, very, very cool to see them next to each other. Get to see the small normal version and then the extremely max version of it as well. Nice. Alrighty, let's slide that back in. Slide this up here. And next we have Rayquaza VMAX. This one is featuring Zinnia. Very, very sought after card. Rayquaza is an absolute fan favorite Pokemon. They were still doing the Rapid Strike, Fusion Strike, etc. back at this time, and so this Rayquaza VMAX was given the Rapid Strike there. Very, very nice. Very great textures and colors on this card. And the last of the textured VMAXs here is Duraludon VMAX here with Raihan, the trainer, riding proudly on top of his head. Raihan is generally known as a Dragon-type trainer, but he does definitely use a Duraludon in one of the games. But this VMAX version, shown here with all the other skyscrapers in the town, is absolutely massive. Very cool. And featuring a Pokemon Center Lady, quite a generic Pokemon Center Lady. The style from this game, of course, is Blissey V. And this pairing is very, very commonly used in many different sets because Chansey and Blissey are kind of like the healing, caring Pokemon, and Pokemon Center Lady is very much obviously the healing, caring person. So this pair is shown a lot together in the TCG. Alright, so now we are into some just normal full arts that are still part of the trainer gallery, and we'll pull those out and just take a nice look. We have Friends in Gallery here. I believe that's Victor and Sonia? I'm not sure. Or Rose? Victor and Rose, I think, actually. And then Marnie, Hop, and Bead. Solid card here. If you're a big fan of the trainers, then you'll definitely like this guy. Alright, Gordy. Gordy has two full arts. Here's one of them. I should say two full arts overall. This is the second one. The first one came out in a much earlier set. But there's featuring Gordy throwing an Ultra Ball there. Alright, we'll skip over Judge, we'll skip over Burnett, and we'll skip over Raihan, and we will look at the last three cards in the trainer gallery here. Swordward and Shieldbert, two endgame nemesis that you made in Sword Shield. Won't go too much into them, but if you know that Zacian and Zamazenta are some of the main characters, at least main Pokemon from Sword Shield, then you won't be too surprised that this guy's hair is shaped like a sword, and this one is shaped like a shield. I will let you make the connection there, but I don't know if I really need to say all that much more. Alright, but for a couple of sets, we had these black backgrounded textured gold cards, and I think they're quite cool. People don't really seem to like them all that much, but I think the people who do like them a lot. And so, a very cool card here, and a very unique style, but even the black does have some shine and sparkle to it and texture. Trying to get the camera to show that properly is a little bit tricky, but very nice. I think they may have made 10 to 12 total of these black backgrounded cards. And then here's Duraludon VMAX, same style, very large, very cool. Alright, so I teased the Sword Shield promo binder a little bit earlier, so let me quickly move this off to the side before we do the reverses, and I can show off a few of the cool cards from the promos. I don't want to spoil too much of the promos, even though we have a grand majority of them, so I wanted to skip directly to the relevant page, or one of the relevant pages. So I chose this page for the... So I chose this page to feature here because this has the Silver Tempest pre-release promos. Let's just take a quick look at those guys. Nice Sunflora. Then we got a Rapidash here with the Silver Tempest stamp. Next up we have the Kirlia, Silver Tempest, and finally the Archeops. Something that is important for me to mention is that these came out in both normal and staff variants. So you would need to look for some gold text down here to show that. While we're here, I can show off the Charizard V-Star up here, and the two other Charizards that it came with are here as well. So we do have those. All right, but I wanted to flip through these next few pages, show off the V-Unions, which I think are quite cool, especially if you like to display them like this in your binder. They even made, well, they didn't make them for it, but there are 2x2 binders that show these off really well. And then if you keep going, we are now at the end of all the Sword Shield promos. We've got some nice illustration contest guys here, but the reason I brought us back here is, again, the Unknown V has Unknown V on it. Very nice. Very, very nice indeed. So that is the Sword and Shield promos binder. These are in another binder at the moment. And let's get back to the set that we featured in this video, Silver Tempest. Okay, as I always say, not a master set without the reverses, and here they are. Let's flip through them to make sure we still have them all, and enjoy the art. This is a disclaimer I give in every video as well, but really, I highly recommend you guys appreciate the bulk you have. There's so much incredible art on these cards that a lot of people just kind of throw away or don't care about or shove in a box in their closet. And of course, we have a lot of bulk shoved away in our closet as well, but we make sure every single card has a place in a binder, readily visible, so we can enjoy it whenever we decide to. All right, so this takes us to the end of the Sword Shield Silver Tempest Master Set. And there's proof that we have everything. So, out of the later Sword Shield sets, the ones that feature the Trainer Gallery or the Galarian Gallery, let's say starting with Evolving Skies and newer, which set from Sword Shield is your favorite? These sets have tons of cards to collect, tons of incredibly affordable and beautiful cards like the Trainer Galleries, and then some chase cards like the Lugia V. Tell me what set is your favorite, which sets in general would you like to see featured in an upcoming video, and are there any types of cards that you really enjoy? We're doing a series sometimes called Featured Fridays, where, since we have most of the English cards in existence, we can compile any subset of them and show them off. For an example, we did a Tomokazu Kamiya Artist Spotlight in an older video. So if there's a type of card you're interested in, like every Arcanine, or every single full art trainer in existence, or something like that, just throw it in a comment, and we'll add it to our list of videos to make. So, thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you guys next time.